They'll be looking to get one underway here with a victory.
It's on your run, guys.
GIO Stadium is a picture today. Who uses the conditions best? The Raiders get us underway. And the kick high down the ground. It's taken by Gamble. And it's Jacob Saifidi starting with the number 8 today. Daniel out with that thigh strain. And Phoenix Crossland going straight to Dominic Young. This try-scoring winger. Tackled by Whitehead and Fogarty. And now Fitzgibbon in such good form on the left edge for Newcastle. Leo Thompson, this young forward with a carry in the opening set. Backed up by the former Raider, Adam Elliott. His first involvement of the afternoon. Crossland to Ponga, they complete a very efficient opening set with a kick high down the ground, has taken on the full. Jordan Rapana, and he confronts a good chase line. Look at them number up defensively on Rapana. Brings Matt Timoko into it. Every game this season and last. The 23-year-old centre. An emerging talent, Matt Timoko. And through the middle they come. Albert Hopewati making that wing position his own this season. Kyrie Horsburgh rumbles forward for the first time today. Again, 4 defenders led by Crossland, low around the legs. Papali'i, a catch and pass for his fellow front rower, Tarpany. And Fogarty goes high to complete Canberra's first. So here's Ponga able to stay on the ground. And now County stepped away from Rapana. What a sign here. Kalen Ponga puts the goose step on and can't beat the last line of defence. Sebastian Chris, a fantastic tackle. What a start, Kalen Ponga.
Yeah, unbelievable footwork there from Kalen Ponga as Frizzell now over the right-hand side, gets over the 30. That is scintillating stuff. Stood up the defenders all in. He's come up with an error here, Frizzell. But Kalen Ponga, unbelievable. We spoke to Ricky Stewart only moments ago and he mentioned about the kicking game where they wanted to hand the ball over. You see Rapana just going through. He goes straight through the defence there of Horsburgh. Comes to the fullback. Seb Chris makes a crucial tackle.
I know there was an error at the end of it, Lara Pitt, but what a confident start by a team that's trying to go 4 straight for the first time since late 21.
Absolutely, Maddie, and they see this as such a crucial game for them, knowing that they are still outside of those all-important top 8 spots. An incredible, beautiful afternoon conditions-wise, though, here in Canberra. Equally as important for these Raiders. They are looking like they could push for a top 4 spot, but they want to win these home games, 3 of them in these final 6 games of the season.
That's a scary sign for Ricky Stewart. Sitting up in the coach's box when you see Kalen Ponga as the Raiders come out the left-hand side now through Whiten. He catches the ball and comes up with a line break and puts a play like that on so early in the game.
So Papali'i puts the head down and drives forward. Tackled by Saifidi and Elliott. Wolford for Tarpany. Again, Saifidi involved. And what will the tackle count for Phoenix Crossland be this afternoon? Busy already defensively. Fogarty to the air, giving the chasers time to get through. It's knocked backwards by Canberra. And it's picked up now by Marzu.
Such a strong battle in the back line for both these sides. They do a terrific job of getting their own side out of their own end. For the Newcastle Knights, obviously Dominic Young and also Greg Marsh, who's so strong, also Gagai and Best. Up against the likes of Hopewate and Rapana, Timoko.
You're right, Corey. Across the field there are intriguing matchups. Crossland just got a little tangled there at dummy half. Because of the presence of White and the pass was wobbly, scooped up. They avoid a problem eventually. It was Gagai. Second came back from that foot injury. And here's Gamble driving it low and long. Gets in behind Sebastian Chris. And he looks up and sees plenty of room. The number 1 at the Canberra Raiders. Extended until the end of 2027 in recent days. Here's Rapana. Would go forward now for the home team. And the big Saturday afternoon crowd appreciates that. Awati set restart. Problem in the ruck spotted by Adam G. And a fresh set for Canberra as they enter Newcastle territory in Corey Horsburgh. The top tackler over the last month, Corey. A carry on that occasion, Papali'i. Now Whiten. An attack on the right-hand side through Elliott. Elliott Whitehead. Tim McCall for Fogarty. He brings Papali'i onto the ball. Straight into the opposition number 8, Saifiti. 2 plays left as Wolford shows it now. Fogarty, quick hands, Whiten to Croker. They come up quickly and Dominic Young affects the stop. Down the short side, Hudson Young. Bit of footwork in the face of Gagai, but to no avail. They'll change it over just a couple of metres out there.
Yeah, really well defended down on that right side from the Newcastle Knights. Dom Young was called out at marker. Hudson Young loves a little scoop or a scamper close to the line. Gagai able to clean up. You just get the sense that these two teams, particularly in the early stage and what we've seen, they're here to play an expansive game of football. We might see some points.
Crossland to the middle of the ground, where Marzu is off his wing. Elliott ball playing again for Leo Thompson. And it's Horsburgh around the legs. Jackson Hastings putting a player through a hole. The ankle tap now, Ponga. No one in front of him. Newcastle race away for the first try. Brilliant from the Knights. Adam Elliott involved as well, but Kalen Ponga. Try July. Have a slick haircut because you're a slick player.
It's the second line break in short succession, 7 minutes into this contest. This time, beautiful. Have a look here. You see Hastings and Fitzgibbon just going to the line. Ponga out the back is the decoy. Isolates the defender, finds Kalen Ponga looming up on the left-hand side. 31 tries the Canberra Raiders have conceded down this right-hand side. Second worst in the competition, up against a left-hand attack, who over the last month have been exceptional, led by that man there. What a start to the contest he's had.
It was Lachlan Fitzgibbon copping an ankle tap, but not before he'd spotted the bright pink boots, the headgear of Kalen Ponga, who we see in full flight, not for the first time today, Corey. We're only 8 minutes in. The sign's really good for the visitors.
It was great lead-up work. They got a quick play of the ball. You saw Kalen Ponga. He's getting a haircut, just getting a little trim. That's a good one. There's a fair bit goes into that midweek.
Another 5K for Nathan Stapleton. Daniel Anderson, try July. That tally climbing as we head towards the end of the month. What an initiative. Great fun. Ponga from right in front. 6-0 dream start for the Knights.
And for Kalen Ponga, who's in sensational touch in the last few weeks. He had 8 try assists the first 10 games of the season that he played, but he's set up 7 in the last 3 wins alone. Lockie Fitzgibbon provider there for him, and it really looks like it's a big day for Kalen Ponga. He started this matchup on fire.
It was really clever work from Phoenix Crossland just to get the ball on the outside of those A and B defenders, who were actually Tarpany and also Papali'i. Hastings just picking them apart with ease.
Time you run, Jordan.
Ricky Stewart, worried man, sideline. His team with a winning record at home this year, but only just, as the kickoff is fielded by Gamble. He goes to Jacob Saifiti. The crowd didn't like it. And here's the try celebration in replay.
The barber, that's pretty good.
Greg Marzu, barber.
I reckon he could cut a hair, Greg Marzu.
Absolutely he can. Hastings to the barber. He can shave a couple of lightning bolts into the side of your melon, Corey. As we see Thompson come forward and make contact with Tarpany. Crossland. Here's Elliott. Out the back, Gamble. Ponga chimes in now. Chance for Gagai. Pulled the ground by Croker. Last play, the Knights. And Gamble steers the ball deliberately into the in goal of the Raiders. A big chance here, but it's cleaned up. Jamal Fogarty had Knights all around him. The bounce was kind for Canberra.
Yeah, terrific set after points for the Newcastle Knights. They come out to this right-hand side. Gagai got a quick play of the ball. Gamble was going to put it high across the left-hand side. Changed his mind mid-kick, found the grass perfectly. And now the Newcastle Knights looking to apply the pressure here.
They score the first try, then they force a goal line dropout on the Raiders. And the option is long, 55 on the fly to Crossland. And he positions Saifidi correctly this time.
Corey Jones square!
Now Tyson Frizzell in fantastic form and re-signed at Newcastle this week. At least for 2024 with options beyond that as well. Elliott on the front foot, Thompson. The defence was waiting, Horsburgh and Fogarty. Here's Hastings for Jacob Saifidi. Still 2 plays left. Crossland to Hastings, flat, and Frizzell was trying to crawl towards the line. Sebastian Chris, big stop. Hastings, the grubber, well weighted, asking questions. It comes off Canberra. And another goal line dropout forced on the Raiders.
Yeah, really well executed set here. I thought Tyson Frizzell may have dropped this in contact. There was a big tackle from Jack White, and he held on to it there. And Hastings just finished it off beautifully. A really polished start from the Newcastle Knights. Will the Raiders go long on this one?
Ricky working that gum. Big day for the Frizzells. His brother Shannon playing for the All Blacks later on. And now you heard the clock expire.
That's a
and a penalty right in front. A schoolboy error.
There's a big clock with a big countdown on it.
And they were warned.
And the ramifications if you don't get the drop kick away.
So look for you. Yeah. He knows that though. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Often referred to as the shot clock. On this occasion, it's the kick clock.
Yeah.
And the buzzer beats them. One too many bounces.
It's just it's unacceptable. Unacceptable for the Canberra Raiders, who've been under all sorts of pressure not to get the drop kick away. A gift 2 points here right in front, early stage in this game, to give the Newcastle Knights an 8-point lead.
So from right in front, a gift to go out beyond a converted try. Clearly, teams want to use as much of the clock as possible to get air back in the lungs, to have a breather, but you can't get that wrong.
Well, 1 second too late, and it's 2 points. Just go a second or two earlier. That's all that needs to happen there.
The mood is deteriorating sideline. Conceding the first try, a basic error. And the face on the chest there of Josh Papali'i should be turned upside down right now. No smiles on the Canberra Raiders, but a good start for Adam O'Brien and his men.
It's on the screen. I said, let's go.
Yeah, Adam G just underlining as the Raiders complain. The clock is on the screen and the referee gave them a warning. They still didn't execute properly. So Saifidi comes back at them.
Together here, Raiders! Hold in.
Crossland to Marziu. Greg just a star of these 3 straight wins against Canterbury, West Tigers and Melbourne. Elliott's spinning in the tackle and offloading. Marziu again.
Together, just for Foley!
Elliott, a willing worker early in this one.
Yeah, it's been a nice start from Adam Elliott in the middle of the field.
Crossland to Hastings.
Just passive defensively out on that right-hand side. So much time and space for Hastings to run there.
Gamble, high, out towards the wing of Rapana, who right on top of his goal line makes the catch. He's going to be trapped in his own 10. The Raiders 4 wins, 3 losses at home this season. 4 and 3. It's Chris. Goes beyond the 10, but not by much. Fogarty. So Hopawati. Wilford goes through Young to Whiten, who tries to throw him through and does. Held grimly by Gamble, who did enough eventually. Tarpany changing the angle. It's Papali'i. They get out of jail nicely on the back of a run from Whiten. Fogarty, an attacking kick out towards the wing of Marzu. And it goes through the arms of Rapana, and the Raiders knock it on.
Yeah, not the
last tackle, Timber.
execution that the Raiders would have liked there. Poor kick from Fogarty. Nice lead-up play from Whiten, who was out in this left-hand centre area. Just takes on Dane Gagai, gets on his outside, too big and strong. It was a wonderful tackle coming across from Gamble. But the fifth play option just letting him down.
Completion so far, tidy from both teams. Thompson. Crossland goes to Gamble. He's Ponga again. Gagai. Held by Hopawati before Whiten arrives. If Newcastle win, they'll be 1 point away from the teams in 6th, 7th and 8th on the live ladder. Hastings threads his way through, finds Marzu. Marzu attracts 4 green jumpers. Elliott again, proving evasive this afternoon. Of course, he was a Raider last year after 6 seasons at Canterbury and before the move to the Hunter. Hastings just measures this kick, and under pressure, Chris makes the catch and then gets steamrolled by Bradman Best and Lockie Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, nice kick down to that left-hand pocket from the Newcastle Knights. Just asking the big Canberra Raider forwards to get behind the ball. There's a lot of walking going on at the moment.
They look a little flat,
yeah,
Canberra,
they rely heavily on their back 5 and Hopawade and Rapana. Now just starting to get behind the ball as Hudson Young takes a good carry.
Need a bit more of that right now, the Green Machine. Wolford out of dummy half for Tarpany. Joe stands in the tackle. It's the 5th tackle. So Fogarty right on top of halfway. High down the ground. Ponga under no pressure at all. What's the return like this time? It's a good tackle from Whiten. Dominic Young, competition's leading try scorer with 19.
Tackle 2, Dom.
He didn't play the Raiders back in round 4 when the Knights won 24-14. Dom Young was in reserve grade, if you can believe that, that weekend. Now, Hastings to Ponga, asking questions again, Best. Took a good shot from Rapana.
It's going to be an extremely long afternoon for that right edge if they continue to backpedal, if they continue to be passive defensively.
Elliott dragged to ground by Croker. It's Hastings again, asking Rapana to get in the air, which he does. So 18 minutes gone, 8-0 to Newcastle, hunting 4 straight wins. Timoko.
Stand now, give room. Wait.
He's delivered some eye-catching games in recent weeks, Matt Timoko. A lot of opportunities early on as Hopawati comes forward. Chris. Dragged to ground by Crossland. Corey Horsburgh. Oh, throwing a long ball. A cutout pass from Horsburgh to Croker, who doubles back. Final play here, and the pass goes to ground, and coming through to dive on the ball, it's Phoenix Crossland. Another effort from Phoenix, but there was lacking significant effort from the Raiders.
Yeah, awful execution in the middle of the field. Wolford finds Papali'i, who the last person you want to find on last tackle, who then throws offload to Tarpany. And you're spot on. The effort areas that Adam O'Brien had highlighted to the Newcastle Knight during the week. He spoke about it in the pre-game. Phoenix Crossland does everything you want as a Newcastle Knights players. Now Frizzell
Powers up through the middle. Takes the tackle from Elliott Whitehead, an important tackle. Hastings on the front foot, tipped on by Bradman Best. Marju for the corner. Newcastle get their second. Brilliant execution. And Greg Marju grabs try 14 of the year.
Well, I mentioned it moments ago, it's going to be a long afternoon for that right edge of the Canberra Raiders. Are they continuing to be passive? This time here, there's a lack of urgency. There is no trust in the right-hand side defence. Here's the play that I mentioned before. Papali'i offloads there to Tarpany. No urgency from Seb Chris to get on the ball at all. And straight away, Hastings. You got Fogarty going back. You got Tim McCaw coming forward with Rapana doing the same. They are not connected out on that right-hand side, which is a green light to these players. Bradman Best does a great job to bat it on. Marju terrific to pick it up off his bootlaces. And 12-0. They're dancing here.
They might be the moves tonight if it's 4 straight wins for Newcastle. And doing some prep for this game, Corey, the ability of Canberra's outside backs to handle the back 5 at Newcastle. Young, Marzu, Best, Gagai, Ponga. They're in try-scoring form, they're in try-assist form, and that man, Greg Marzu, has now scored in 4 straight games.
Well, without doubt, that obviously plays a massive part, Matty, but 32 tries now down that right-hand side. It's the second worst right-hand side defence in the competition. And you talk about Bradman Best, you talk about Kalen Ponga. Hastings is doing his role nicely. They are not connected. There's no trust. They're going back when they should be coming up. They're coming up when they should be going back.
Go out beyond 2 converted tries from the sideline. Kalen Ponga is perfect after the former Titan, Greg Marzu, scored a try after he scored 2 back in round 4, Lara, when the Knights took down the Raiders.
Yeah, they've got a great chemistry building, those two, Best and Marzu on that edge. And as you said, Matty, he scored a double the last time they played the Raiders, ran for over 200 metres on that day, busting 12 tackles. So already starting strong here, that edge particularly against the Raiders at home.
That's a very good point, Lara. It wasn't just his try scoring. He did a lot of damage back in round 4. Looks like he can do some damage on the dance floor, Corey.
Cut or hug.
So coming into this game, you said you'd liked what Newcastle were building over the last few weeks. They've continued on with that in the first 21 and a half minutes here. Frizzell off enormous numbers last week. Headed likewise this afternoon. And now Leo Thompson. Elliott loses the ball. And there's
First one, Knights.
an error, the first error, I think, from Newcastle this afternoon.
Shot clock on.
Yeah, he's been terrific, Adam Elliott, to start this game. Been very busy. That link player that's just distributed the ball. Crossland just bounces off the chest there. A little bit too close to the marker. And an opportunity here for the Raiders, who haven't had much at all in this first half.
As soon as it went forward into Emre Gula, it was a knock-on.
Yep.
And Adam Elliott knew that. So a chance here, a rare chance for Canberra to have a full set in good position. How do they use it? Whiten trying to skip to the outside of Gamble. Croker comes into the play, but he's held by Gagai. Wolford long to Young, who drops on that right foot and straightens. Wolford for Tarpany. Joe Tarpany, the former Knights. Another crush by Gula, accommodated by the defence. Fitzgibbon, the man most responsible for the tackle. Now out of dummy half, the ball trickles away. The Raiders appeal. Now they get a call. A set restarts for the Raiders. Wolford for Horsburgh.
Get up there, release!
Only tackle one. Tarpany goes it alone again. Forced onto his back. Wolford to Fogarty, through Chris. Timoko tried to double back but lost his legs. It was Fitzgibbon making the tackle. Gula down the middle. The ball is wrapped up by Elliott, and that's tackle 5. The whole set in Newcastle's 10, White and long, and Albert Hopper right there to touch Dominic Young, and the Knights muscle up. A full set on their own goal line, and they handle it.
Yeah, really well handled there from the Newcastle Knights, but a very, very underwhelming set from the Canberra Raiders. Their first real opportunity over the last 10 minutes. They come down into good ball. They have 3 hit-up plays. 3 hit-up plays inside 20 to try and get over the try line. They come out to this left-hand side. It's man on man. Dom Young does a great job. Keeps Hopperway on his outside, puts him into touch. Well handled from Newcastle. Well, that's pretty ordinary attack from the Canberra Raiders.
The Westpac red zone tackled in the opposition 20 stat, 14-4 in favour of the Raiders. But no points to show for it. Jack Hetherington, part of every game this season for the Knights. Elliott passing at the line. The ball spills free. And again, they invite trouble.
Well, what can the Raiders come up this set? They need more than what we saw before.
Another set restart. The third of the game to Canberra. 3-0 in that department. Wolford, short side play for Hudson Young. Brazil and Hetherington. Another set restart. 4 blocks in favour of the Raiders as Elliott lifts. Tarpany. Four defenders are sucked in. Gula giving it this time, Fogarty. Now Hudson Young, nice and direct. He loses the ball. Again, the defence holds. It was only played 3. Error Canberra.
Yeah, Hudson Young, he scored many a try like that as Ricky Stewart puts another bit of chewy in there. But again, I mean, you need to ask questions of the defensive line. You need to get players making decisions. When you continually play early and short, Tarpany's support players overran what he was doing. They need to fix that up, the Raiders.
It's been a horrible away venue for Newcastle, winning only 6 of their 27 games here. Here's Marzu, and a penalty will help the Knights' cause further. Offside, Canberra on the far side of the field.
Yeah, that won't impress coach Ricky Stewart at any stage. Come up with an error, then you compound it with now a penalty. You invite the Newcastle Knights straight up back into your own area.
So having absorbed so much pressure, Newcastle can apply some of their own again here. Good leaders in this game early. The ball from Elliott to no one. And the clean-up mission is left for Dane Gagai.
He's come up with an error and 2 passes that hit the ground. He might just want to tap it under the wing next time.
That's what Jack Hetherington does. Nice and direct. Plenty of speed about it. Gamble, Hastings, Ponga. A big hole in front of Kalen. And Timoko rides him into the grass. Hastings goes flat to Elliott. Does he follow your instructions, Corey? Nope, another offload. Back for Matt Croker. And Gamble allows Gagai to change the direction. So last play. And it's Croker giving it on to his halfback, who tried to kick through the line and kicked straight into the breadbasket of an Englishman, Elliot Whitehead. The less catches Englishmen take at the moment, the better. As Hopewadi is tackled. Now Young. Both teams are tick below 80% with their early completions. And that's been called an error.
Hudson, you grabbed him and then you lost it.
He lost the ball, he lost his pants, he lost his bearings, he lost the plot.
Lost the marbles, everything. It's the right call there. There is a bit of pressure on the back of the knee. Oh, boy. It just takes a dive.
Oh, that's rugby league. Beautiful rugby league at its best.
Might have been watching the Women's World Cup soccer.
What was that? 11 left in the first half, 14-0. As Ricky prepares to send out the reinforcements. Sami Solo, Ata Mariota about to enter the fray. Hastings to best. Crossland back to Croker. Try scorer last week against Melbourne, Matt. Just the fourth of his career. Elliott on for Gamble. Now Ponga can't take the pass cleanly. Scooped up skillfully by Croker.
No advantage.
Yeah, the Newcastle Knights have just fallen into a little lull here at the moment. They're just continually giving the Raiders a ball back. Caitlin Ponga, you could see what he wanted to do. Had to catch the ball first before delivering to Dom Young, who, as you mentioned already, Matt, the leading try scorer of the competition. They just need, yeah, you can see there, coach is not happy at all. Just need to fall back into their groove. They were so effective at early stage, picking up right post and coming back down that left-hand side. This time they change it up.
There's the errors over the last 4 minutes, but for the game, Newcastle 5 in a hurry. Adam O'Brien wanting a bit more ruthlessness than what they're showing over the last 5 to 10 minutes. Rapana. Gula goes on to the fresh legs. Pasami Solo out there. Himself a former Knight. Now Ata Mariota. Driven backwards and bailed out by the held call. Elliott and Hetherington underneath the rib cage. Wolford for Hudson Young.
Last one, Lachlan. Jackie.
It's tackle 5. And it's Fogarty going high out towards the sunny side of the ground. Coming through, making the catch. Said Chris, gets the ball away, but Croker will pick it up. They needed a Raider in the right place and there wasn't any. So Newcastle can come away from their 30-metre line.
Yeah, it was another poor kick on the right-hand side for Fogarty, and they again compound it. They come up with an error, lack of urgency to get to the ball, and they lay on too long, and a penalty's given now. 8.5 minutes remaining. It's been the tail of the tape the first half of the Raiders. You talk about, you hear so often, you know, they wanted it more than us, or they didn't have any urgency. It's been certainly that case. Well, what can the Knights come up with? They have 2 given back opportunities to the Raiders.
Fitzgibbon down for the Warrington Wolves on a 3-year deal at the end of this season. Here's Hastings back from England. On to Hetherington.
There's that right post.
Now back to the left. Croker on to Hastings. They set up here, and Fitzgibbon runs into Solo, Mariota and Wolford. They're eyeing a 20-0 lead here, Newcastle. Gamble, Ponga. Here's Gagai out to Dominic Young. Young for the corner. Little that Hopewadi could do. The competition's leading try scorer goes in again. 20 and counting.
Yeah, really nice play here. Caitlin Ponga, obviously the key figure out the back. Everyone doing their role beautifully. They went out the left-hand side. You just watch Caitlin Ponga. Just swings out the back. Gamble does enough. All on the same trajectory around the outside. Dominic Young, much taller, bigger man than Hopewadi. Does enough to hold him up on the inside. Hopewade should have put him out. Did he get the ball down?
When you're that big and tall, it is an effort to get to ground sometime, especially when the sideline touching or sideline in goal is coming at you quickly. Look at it again, Corey.
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
Right. When you've scored 19 previous, you know you've scored them. Hopewade need to come up with a better play there. Had plenty to do there. Dom Young did a great job. And the Newcastle Knights, 18 points, kick to come, in full control of this game.
2 ahead of Alex Johnston, who bagged a hat-trick in Tamworth last night against West's Tigers. Throwing down the gauntlet to Dominic Young, who answers with 1 in the first half here. The record for tries in a season at Newcastle. Tamana Tahu, Aku Uwate, 21. Dominic Young has 20. And given the games left, he should blow past them and build the best try-scoring season in Knights history before he leaves the Roosters. Kalen Ponga from the sideline trying to bring it back, which he does. It's 20-0 to Newcastle.
What a first half Kalen Ponga's had. He peeled the layers back for the Raiders. They failed to get the drop out. They got a penalty goal against them. They've had 3 balls hit the ground. The Newcastle Knights have dived on it. The desperation's been far better. And they've taken their opportunity. You can see there what it means. Good boy, he reckons. Little fist pump. 20 points to 0.
No early starts.
3 conversions and a penalty goal to Ponga. The last conversion, not his first sideline hit after the try from Dominic Young. And there's still the best part of 6 minutes left here. It has been a flat first half from Canberra. Newcastle just picking up where they left off last week against Melbourne. Dominic Young fighting for every metre. Crossland for Hastings and Marzu falling underneath for the straight run. Kurt Mann off the bench. And he tries for the fast play, the ball, loses enough of a grip for Adam G to say the onus is on you, Kurt. Canberra to get some ball. Can they find some points before the break? The Raiders.
Well, from what we've seen in the first half, you would say no. I mean, defensively, the Knights have really stood up. But the attack of the Raiders, they haven't had enough of it. But when they have had the ball, it's been very much underwhelming. It's been individual brilliance. Jack Whiten's had a couple of line breaks out on this left-hand side. But aside from that, has been very flat.
Hold there, hold in, break.
And that man sparked them in the last 5 of this first half. Whiten can't get away from the tackle of Gamble. Whitey crawling towards the middle of the ground. Wolford for Gula. Now Fogarty. Seb Chris joins the back line. Can't go past Hastings or Best. Gula again distributing. Wolford, Whiten, back to Croker. Croker thought about the flick offload for Hopewadi, but thought better of it. This time it's Gula going forward. Last play. Wolford to Fogarty, the kick off the hands of Hastings. It went backwards, and again, Newcastle survive on their own line.
Yeah, once again, he's had a couple of those this half. Fogarty just not able to get his 5th play options down where he needs to. It was wonderful desperation, as we've seen from the Knights, from Hastings, is Ponga now at a dummy half. Did he knock that on? And drag it back towards him. Hard to tell from that angle.
Referees or sideline officials with no problem. Tackled in the opposition 20, 20-8 in favour of Canberra. As we see Frizzell try to wind up again. Gamble from the western sideline hoists it high down the ground. Seb Chris long on one knee catching the ball. Rapana spins it out for Timoko. And the shift to try and counter the kick is handled by Newcastle. Rapana for a flat-footed Hopewati. Sort of summing up their first 37 minutes. The penalty will invite them upfield.
Well, that'll help.
Fair. Wait, he's in
They
front.
need one of these Raiders to put their hand up and just throw the team on their back and say, follow me. At the moment, they're looking left and right, looking for someone else to do their own job.
Here's a team whose biggest win this season is 10 points, whose differential is so poor. They just have to keep winning, the Raiders. But they're a long way from that today. Whiten. Croker sends it through Wolford. Gula giving it to Fogarty. Now Chris Rapana at an angle, trying to duck under one tackle. The ball is thrown backwards to Whitehead.
Stand down, Jackson!
So the defence handling this from Canberra. Sliding and scrambling accordingly. Gula.
Hold that, Phoenix! Hold, wait.
Wolford to Fogarty. Now Whiten, the inside play for Chris. Again, straight into the clutches of multiple defenders. Wolford, here's Hudson Young close to the line. One of their prominent try scorers this year, but no way through there. Fogarty kicking across the ground out towards the wing of Rapana, off the fingertips into the hands of Bradman Best. Knock on.
Last tackle, Jackson.
And they'll change it over as a result. Ricky Stewart planning his halftime message, and it's not going to be good.
No, it shouldn't be. 24 times now, tackled inside 20 for the Canberra Raiders, and it's just all individual. They're not setting up anything. They're not trying to dismantle the defensive line. It's just all individual shape that they're trying to get across the try line.
Best.
Together, Raiders! Hold!
Canberra staring at their second scoreless first half of the season after being held to no points round 7 against St George Illawarra. Matt Croker has it.
Straight away, get up!
And the visitors 30 seconds away from a dream first half here in the capital. Gamble out for Ponga. It might get better yet. Gagai bumping away from Hopewati. Gagai down the middle of the ground. And Chris cuts his legs out from under him. Last play, it goes to Hastings. Long, Best from 10 metres out. Bradman Best tried to reach out and lost the ball as he did so. They went very close to another try. The ball spewed free from the grab or the clutches of Bradman Best. Here's the break again. A big bump from Gagai, and then it opened up for the Knights. Half-time sounds.
Yeah, so what happens is you go to him.
An explanation here from Adam G. 3 tries to 0 in the first half. Kalen Ponga kicking 4 from 4, and what a first 40 for Kalen Ponga's men. Newcastle lead it 20 blot. I've got 40 minutes to fix that, and they need to. Coming into the game 11-7 inside the top 8, but with the worst differential of the top 11 teams. What can they do in the second half? Newcastle with the resumption. It's taken by Albert Hopewati. We saw Albert's sister play for the Roosters NRLW team before this. Won by the Raiders in a huge upset. Solo, all these Raiders NRL players were out there supporting their female team, but they haven't been able to match their effort. Wolford goes in front of Solo. And the carry to Atamariota. Now it's Solo's turn. Quick offload for Fogarty. And Chris chimes in, wrapped up by Hastings. Last play and poor distribution by Whitehead, but that's a decent kick. A torpedo down the ground, deal with that. And they do. Dominic Young under no pressure. He makes the catch. The kick sort of bailed them out there, Corey.
Well, it certainly did, but it happened in the first half also. Josh Papali'i received the ball on 5th play. That time they're not going to the right player. They get away with it. Mariota with a nice little kick.
Hetherington. Crossland through Kurt Mann. Gamble down the short side. Here's Ponga
nice.
getting the ball away. Gagai through. Here are the reinforcements as well. Tyson Gamble running away for another try. It has the fingerprints of Ponga and Gagai all over it. As we said at the start of the game, this back 5 for the Knights are firing.
Yeah, outstanding start again from the Newcastle Knights. The coach, Adam O'Brien, would only just be finding his seat this time here. Beautiful work here from Gamble. Just gets nice tempo, passes the ball exactly when he needs to. KP out the back to Gagai. Breaks away from the tackle, and Gamble just back through the middle. And crosses for a try. What's he got in the try celebrations? They've had some beauties. KP's got a haircut. There's been some dancing.
I reckon Tyson's the sort of bloke who doesn't have to be invited for a post-try celebration, but a bit reserved on that occasion. Able to stay on his feet despite the shove from Hudson Young.
That's brilliant work from Kalen Ponga. The no-look pass went behind him. Kalen Ponga was able just to prop enough, catch the ball in one hand, beat a defender with the other, and then the pass to Gagai. All in the one motion. And what do we got here from Tyson Gamble?
Well, that's straight out of the Corey Parker playbook. That's at some of Brisbane's finest nightclubs. They have preferred a few dance moves today, not for the first time. They celebrate.
If he was a wiggle.
And Kalen Ponga, 5 from 5 to make it 26 points to 0, Lara.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've been watching too much of the Wiggles, because that's the thought that came to my mind from the coaches at halftime. Gentleman Adam O'Brien just said, do not get bored doing the tough stuff. They've got to respect the ball and keep up their energy in their effort areas to go on with this match. They're certainly doing that so far. From the Canberra Raiders, Ricky Stewart, he just called for calm and for patience, that they can't get worried about the scoreboard, which is continuing to tick over. Just got to go set for set. They certainly haven't started that way.
I wonder whether Tyson Gamble drives a big red car, Corey. Maybe that was the meaning behind the celebration, the Wiggles celebration.
Probably suits him, actually, Tyson Gamble, being a wiggle.
26-0. Where to for Canberra from here as Dominic Young comes forward. They're playing on the front foot, aren't they? Upbeat, confident Newcastle. Brazil. On the back end of the season, this shapes up to be for Newcastle. Here's Ponga. Rushing away from defenders. Still going, Kalen Ponga. Eventually he's grabbed by Gula. Gamble off the right foot, high. He says, Canberra, catch this, and Hopawati with that catching style of his, falling away from the ball to ground as it arrives. I think it's risky, but he keeps making the catch.
Yeah, he does. But once again, a superb end of set there for the Newcastle Knights after points, just starting the Canberra Raiders coming out of that 10-metre square, out of their own end.
Now Rapana, in their 3 losses here this year, Canberra have given up big totals. More on that in a moment as we look at Mariota. Now Wolford to Fogarty. Just inside his 40, but it's not going to angle towards the sideline. And Gagai says, Greg Marziu, off you go again. The great tackle buster, Greg Marziu. He leads the league in that regard. He's on a remarkable run of busting tackles over the last 8 games. Dominic Young. Gagai working through the middle. Invaluable experience in the Knights lineup provided by Gagai as we see Gamble go to Frizzell again. Speaking of experience, their reigning player of the year, their Danny Badiris medalist, Tyson Frizzell. Here's Kurt Mann stepping in traffic through the middle. So they navigate this set with a kick on the end of it from Gamble into the Raiders, picked up by Dominic Young, still the last, the second kick. Hopewadi leaves the ground this time, can't catch cleanly, a fresh set for the Knights. The ball comes out, it's ruled backwards, Bradman Best, 6 again is the call, and the Knights have another one.
0.
The
Knocked out
Knights
again by Raiders.
had their 5th try of the afternoon.
Well, there's a fair bit to unpack here. But the Newcastle Knights, they are looking to go on with this game. Tyson Gamble still down in back play. They come down this right-hand side. Other play, they're offside there at the moment. Tyson Gamble hits the back of the player. He is onside from Dom Young. Hopewadi comes up with the error. Gagai scoops it up. That was deemed to be knocked out. Play on there to Bradman Best, who's been in try-scoring fashion of late.
Look, it's not the most fluent, skillful, aesthetically pleasing rugby league try, Corey, but guess what? They're all worth 4 points.
Absolutely. The question will be, did Tyson Gamble make contact on Hopewadi before he made the error?
Okay, Grant. Tackle 0, mate. Can you have a look at the initial kick contest to see if there's a tackle in the air?
The voice of Grant Atkins coming in the bunker.
Tyson Gamble tackles Albert Hopewadi in the air. We have a decision.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Gamble. I mean, to the letter of law, yes, he does make contact, but Hopewadi was never catching that. It bounced off the chest.
So, peel some points off the scoreboard and put some time back onto it. Back to my point as Adam O'Brien looks on, the 3 losses here for Canberra. They gave up 53 against Penrith, 42 against Manly, 36 against the Warriors. When they've been beaten at home, it's been by a big margin with the opposition piling on the points. Likewise today.
It's a real concern. And spoke to Ricky Stewart before the game, and he mentioned about the preparation and what the teams in the mindset they come down to Canberra with. Obviously, the conditions play a part. Very steel-minded, and you can see that from what we've seen here.
Solo with the knock-on. Back to you, Corey.
From the Newcastle Knights, but the home side.
Yeah, we'll go on the line.
Well, they just can't get it right on any facet of the game. Defensively, offensively, coach looks on there. They roll out a half-time after hearing from the coach and what they wanted to do. They would have sat around, yes, okay, let's do this, and they've come out in the second half. And in 7 minutes, there's been 2 tries, 1 disallowed, and a couple of errors.
This is their 19th game of the season, yet it looks like game 1 of the pre-season challenge, and the expression on Ricky Stewart's face reflects that. At times, the only word to describe the Raiders' play today has been horrible.
Yep, I agree.
And on multiple occasions. There's still plenty of time left in this one, more than half an hour. They need to fall into gear in a hurry. As Crossland goes to Kurt Mann, now Croker, Matt Croker.
Get out together!
Jackson Hastings, ball playing for Ponga on a fringe. He's wrapped up by Fogarty and Dimmico. Hastings goes to man off the bench.
Last one! Not on in, Kurt! Not on in!
Last one from 20 out. Here's Ponga to Best, and his pass, the tip on, the push on to Marziu's called forward, and that's how it appeared.
Yeah, it was the right play. Marziu just a step ahead of what was going on there from Bradman Best. He's already picked up a try in the first half from something similar. Sebastian Chris was well in field. Maybe Marziu thought that there was going to be a kick in behind.
Newcastle doing this today without one of their forward leaders, Daniel Saifidi, out with a thigh strain. They're 26-0 up, headed towards a 4th straight win and trying to pin the Raiders deep in their own end here. They're off to Perth against the Dolphins next weekend, then 3 straight in Newcastle. So the door is wide ajar for the Knights in the back end of the season. Here's Wolford. Fogarty, Elliott, Whitehead quick, on for Timoko. Now Rapiner down the sideline. He kicks back in field, coming through, Hudson Young gets the ball. He claims he was tackled before the ball arrived. Instead, Adam G says no, just a knock on.
And this has been the big difference over the last 5 weeks from Newcastle Knights. Just have a look at how many red and blue jerseys are in the pictures. You see Timoko go down the right-hand side. Rapping up, we've seen it before. Beautiful little kick on the inside. But you see desperation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red and blue jerseys coming across. It means something to them. They want to continue to build on what we've seen over the last 5 weeks. That's play on. That is exceptional desperation from Newcastle.
Well, Tyson Gamble got the timing a little wrong on the recent tackle on Albert Hopewadi right there. He times it to deny Hudson Young. Gagai.
And it's a real good sign because they're buying things from the team. They're individual efforts. They're choices you make from an individual's point of view that you go, if I put myself in this position or if I want to do this, this is what we're going to get. And they've got 17 people with their hand up doing that. Is now
they drop the ball. Hudson Young, Albert Hopewadi drops the ball straight back. So no advantage taken. And the Knights want to challenge this original drop by Newcastle.
Okay. Okay, Joey. Got a challenge from Newcastle. The initial decision is a loose carry from Kurt Mann, and I've got no advantage once we play on.
And they're arguing illegal strip, the Knights.
Yeah, they were very adamant that they would be stripped in the tackle.
I said no advantage.
You'd probably think if Hudson Young is involved, there's a fair chance. One of the best thieves we've seen.
Just looking to see how the ball comes out.
It's got to be a clear stripping motion from the Raiders, and I haven't seen one yet, Corey. This angle might give us a better look. I think this will be loose carry, challenge denied.
There's no intent to strip from the Canberra Raiders. The challenge is unsuccessful.
No advantage. Can I get the initial mark, Joey?
So the Knights lose their challenge and possession. Canberra in good
Go back
position
here, guys.
here.
It's 30 up. Thank you. No advantage.
Still
No more
well and
challenges.
truly enough time left on the clock for the Canberra Raiders to get themselves back into this game.
Okay, guys.
We've seen big comebacks this season and in recent years. The only question is, are the Raiders playing well enough to this point to deliver one of them? And the answer has to be no. So we need them to click into gear. If you're a Green Machine fan, can they hit the switch and find their best? Whiten could be key to that. Here's Seb Chris, held up. Gagai tried to drag him towards the sideline, unsuccessfully as Whiten finds Hudson Young.
Move down, square. Wait. 6 more, 10 metres.
Set restart as they go through the hands. Timoko out by Rapiner. The Raiders are in. They get there first. Is that the opening?
10 metres.
Is that the kickstart required?
Caitlin. Oh, 6 more. Jackson's going.
It's taken some time for the Canberra Raiders. There was a little bit to listen to there from the referee. I thought he might have been talking to Kalen Pong about some high contact. Again, they come out the right-hand side. White and Timoko on the outside just gets Marju interested, makes a poor decision defensively. And Rapiner is able to cross for the Canberra Raiders. As I said before, still plenty of time left.
Yeah, Adam G just warning Caitlin Ponga on the run. I'd call a set restart because you had a player offside. get to him and let him know to stay onside. While that was happening, Jordan Rapana was celebrating another try. The 9th of his season, which takes him to the top of the pops at Canberra. They've shared the try scoring. Look at it, the spread of scorers. Hopewati, Timokop with 8, Whiten, Hudson Young with 7. So while some teams have a clear standout, a runaway leader, not the Raiders. Every kick important for Jared Croker. They need to go up by 6s and not 4s. Bringing this one back, Croker makes it 26 points to 6. Still an agitated soul, sitting sideline, Ricky Stewart. But as you touched on, Corey, best part of half an hour to play, they need Whiten, Timokop and Rapana delivering more plays like this.
Yeah, they do. There's still plenty of time, as we said already, but it was the way they went about that. I mean, they were able to run some nice hard lines. They asked some questions to the defensive line, and in turn, they come up with 6 points.
Underway again on a late afternoon after a glorious day in the capital. Relatively warm conditions, a bright day. But how does it finish for Canberra? Papali'i comes forward. Now Gula. Busy day for Emre. Tapani with the offload. Said Chris. Almost got the ball away. Hudson Young was trailing through. Would have been risky. And they take the safe option. Wolford to Gula. There's an offload along the ground to Whiten. Jack just skips across field. Croker running out of room here. And Croker takes the tackle.
Did a really good job there, Dom Young, just to hold his nerve while Dane Gago was coming from the inside.
Fogarty high. Ponga times his jump. Caleb Ponga up above them all.
Time off.
And it's a dangerous landing for Kalen. And there might be a problem for the Newcastle number 1.
Yeah, great to see KP here, straight to his feet. Obviously rattled him in terms of the contact, but he's fine. Thumbs up, this is good news. This is clumsy play.
He left the ground before it.
Yeah,
Adam G with
going
plenty
through
of
the legs.
assistance.
Sebastian!
He's left the ground before it. He just jumped over the top of him. It's not his fault.
I've heard what you had to say. It's been reviewed. There's no point arguing with me. It's careless. You go through the legs. Don't report.
Tunnelling the call. You decide at home.
Yeah, you hear in the background there, that is 100% dangerous. The penalty was brought in to eliminate this. Kalen's come from
So Corey, the
a
question
long way down.
The question has to be asked. Here's a player who has a widely reported history with HIA issues. He's high off the ground. It's fairly clear that his legs are taken out. There's a really dangerous, horrible landing. Thankfully, the player's all right.
Yeah.
Is Seb Chris lucky to stay on the ground?
Well, in my opinion, yes. I mean, you would say that Seb Chris had eyes for the ball. His eyes didn't change, but it's careless. I mean, we could all see, and Seb Chris would have saw himself out his peripheral, that KP was well up in the air.
Okay, big talking point in this game. Thankfully, the outcome is fine for Kalen Ponga. Momentarily, I thought the arms were extended. And here's Ponga showing us how fit and fine he is. Almost ripping through the defence of Jack Whiten. Tangled in the tackle. Maybe partly deliberately. Now Jacob Saifiti has the incident lit a fire in Newcastle. Gamble to Hastings. Lockie Fitzgibbon.
Tom, Josh, get up! Wait here, left shoulder. Go to. Joe, come on.
Hastings just drifting across the ground. Ponga again. Frizzell direct, dragging Whiten down low. Hudson Young up top. Croker, can he get 2 in 2 weeks? Tapani says no to that. Hastings for Fitzgibbon, who tried to position himself for the offload. The defence instead sees the ball come
All
free.
over him.
Penalty. Penalty to the Knights. And they'll challenge.
Jamal, you've asked to challenge, we're doing it. Okay, Joey, conduct 5. Raiders challenging the decision of a penalty for knocking the ball out.
They want a loose carry call.
The tackle's complete. Jamal Fogarty then pushes his left hand through the ball
He
and
was
dislodges
adamant,
the ball.
Jamal
The challenge is
Fogarty. Does he
unsuccessful.
think there's no cameras around? He was adamant.
Not once the tackle's complete, hand comes through. No more challenges, mate. I've
Like
explained
watching
it.
last night's game, I thought, who didn't get the memo regarding shoulder charges?
Okay, 2 guys.
They're banned. You can't challenge if you've
That is
committed.
That's a ridiculous challenge from the player that was involved in it.
The idea is to challenge when you're right. And Ricky Stewart, it all looks very wrong for him.
And Kalen Ponga just coming up. They're going to take the 2 points here and slow it down and take a couple of minutes off the clock.
Canberra scored the most recent try. They were trying to build momentum. The incident on Kayla Ponga stemmed that. Another penalty goal here will go further to achieving that.
Just waiting on the tee.
It's a minute 20, like all the kicks, then it goes off.
So we eventually find a kicking tee. And the crowd here hushed, boisterous earlier on as the NRLW team had an emotional, historic victory for the Raiders, but they've been quelled by Newcastle at NRL level. All the numbers for Kalen Ponga reading well today.
It's great signs for Newcastle.
Great signs for the competition, having one of its stars finding his best in this intriguing race to the finals. And he hasn't missed today. He hasn't missed a beat today. It's 28-6 Newcastle over Canberra.
Yeah, Ricky Stewart's gone to his bench. He's injected Tom Starling into the fray, trying to look for a little bit of spark in that middle of the field. At this point, 28 points to 6. He'd be looking for anything.
The road ahead for Newcastle, a trip to Perth to play the Dolphins next Saturday. Then home games, Canterbury, Souths, Cronulla, into the Dragons at Cogra in the final round. Those 3 consecutive home games loom as gold in their finals quest. Gamble finds Dominic Young on the move. The ball wrapped up by Gula. Crossland to Tyson Frizzell.
He's been strong.
Again.
Frizzell out on the edge. Defensively, just gets through his work.
There's that live ladder, Corey, showing the Knights applying pressure to the Sharks, the Rabbitohs and the Cowboys. We'll see the Cowboys tomorrow in the final game of round 22. Fitzgibbon. Now Hastings just measures the chip kick. Taking the ball, Sebastian Crisp, but he's right on top of his own goal line.
That's a great intercept from Hastings. He's had a really sound game, hasn't overplayed his hands, had some wonderful touches with the ball.
So now Hopewati tries to get some go forward, none of that. Matt Timoko kept much quieter this afternoon than he has been in recent Raiders games. Fogarty.
Still yet to have a tackle break, Timoko. He was one of the best in the competition. It just goes to show.
And Corey, look at this, 5 tackles down. They're still not 30 metres clear of their goal line. Not a lot of punch to the Raiders play today. Can the boot of Fogarty provide that? A spiral down the ground off the fingertips and backwards from Greg Marzu. And he has plenty of room to move in now. And in the end, he throws the attempted stripper away. He says to Tommy Starling, I'm not letting go. This is best.
Just a bit of concern in back play for Hudson Young. He's with the trainer. Looks like he may have a wrist injury. He's in all sorts of pain back there. They come down his way.
Well, they target Hudson Young here. Elliot Whitehead shuts it down. Oh, Young around the waist makes enough of a tackle. The offload invites Ponga on the run. Now Fitzgibbon held by Fogarty. 2 plays left. Hastings to Ponga, catch and pass to Marziu. Marziu, he goes back to Bradman Best, building here. Man, strong. Gets over the goal line, but not to
Tackle
ground.
5. I don't think he completely got it. He still had hands on it, Kurt. Be 5th and last out here.
Yeah, Ponga's copped a knock here. Absolutely brilliant
I don't
skills to
think he
pick it up with
completely
his
got it. I think
toes.
Kurt still had it. 5th and last.
Play goes out the back. Poor pass.
Last
Just
one,
cops
go.
an accidental knee there from Rapana. Looks to be okay.
Craig Catterick, the trainer, straight to him and given the clearance straight away. Running straight now. It's Gagai. He also took high-ish contact, but they'll
Come off.
change it over.
Kalen.
So close to
Kalen.
Canberra's goal line.
Look, I don't control that.
Well, that's
Independent doctor, mate. HIO.
well, he presented no signs.
Change over.
He'll go through the protocols. Those sort of knocks, no matter who it is, what your history is, chances are you're going to be sent for a head injury assessment.
The skill level there, what Kalen Ponga was able to do, was incredible. Poor pass at his feet, didn't change anything, picked it up, gave Marju a beautiful ball. And you saw straight away Kalen Ponga to Craig Catterick, who's been in the game an extremely long time. He said he was fine. And even then when they stopped the game, he'll be back in this second half, or might just put the Ferrari back in the shed.
You saw the fury there of Adam O'Brien in replay. I'm led to believe that wasn't in reaction to Kalen being taken off for the head injury assessment. It was a facet of Newcastle's play that he wasn't happy with, not the decision to check on Kalen Ponga by the independent bunker. So Canberra across halfway, but only just, and on the last play now, it's Whiten steering the ball through the line. Gagai, no room to move, and Rapana wraps him up.
Hold on, Matt. Square. Wait.
Marziu.
Yeah, good at the back 5. Been touched on it in the pre-game. I mean, they just haven't been able to go with them, the Canberra Raiders. Marju again, 17th run, 160-odd run metres. Gagai's 165, Dom Young 120. They just get through their work, you see there. Some of the leading run metres.
All the leading run from Newcastle. Good effort from Jacob Saifidi in among all those outside backs. Hastings high, Chris under no pressure. He makes the catch and is drilled by Brodie Jones. Jones playing his 8th game of the season. Called in because of the Daniel Saifidi thigh strain. Chris again. They've been pedestrian today, the Raiders. Not a lot of strike, not a lot of punch.
Well, they have looked flat in all areas. It's a bit of a concern for Ricky Stewart.
They're back here next Sunday, tomorrow week against West Tigers. They'll need a hell of a better performance than this one this afternoon. As Fogarty gets a wobbly kick high down the ground, gobbled up by Gagai. And Dane's not easing up to the line. They want more points. We know how important for and against is going to be. It's on from plus 50 to plus 72 so far today.
It's going to be, really crucial coming to the latter rounds, particularly in the semi-finals for Canberra Raiders. They got an awful for and against.
Leo Thompson. Leo enjoying his second season in the NRL as Gamble goes through the hands. Quick hands. And they couldn't quite execute it. Man on for Dom Young, but he had to rush the pass and it goes forward as a result. Corey, straight after this game, a really interesting contest in Wollongong. St George Illawarra against Manly. It's Ben Hunt against Daly Cherry Evans in Daly's 300th. The Origin Stars head-to-head on a day where Daly would love to win at a venue where Manly has really struggled.
Yeah, it's a huge afternoon, isn't it, for Daly Cherry Evans, his friends and family. Game 300, congratulations to him. He's done absolutely everything in the game, Daly. Played Test match, won World Cups, won premierships, captained Queensland to series victories, captained his club in game 300 against his good mate Benny Hunt.
That's next on Fox League. Whiten out for Albert Hopewadi. Albert towards the sideline. Gagai is strong. Hopewadi says, I'm not going into touch. Now, in the
6
ruck,
to go.
it's a mess. It's touched by Newcastle. There's a fresh set now for Canberra. Still more than 15 left here. Horsburgh, Starling, Elliott Whitehead.
Stand there! Wait!
Horsburgh for Papali'i.
Locked in there!
Tackled by Thompson.
Phoenix one. Wait.
Still a lot of tackles left in this set. Fogarty through the hands. Whiten was looking for Hopewadi. Instead, he throws it into touch. And there's another incident to sum up their game.
It was touched by Dom Young out on that right-hand side. He didn't need to jam in there, Dom Young. They had enough numbers.
He's only got to go past them.
Comes outside in.
He's only got to go back past them, which he did.
Off the right hand of Dom Young. Good pick up, Corey.
It's when the old winger puts your hand up and says, one more set, boys, and the forwards say thank you.
What can they give us? Tarpany.
Hold! Locked and release! Wait, Brody.
Starling long, Fogarty. Here's Hudson Young. Trying to take his tally from 7 to 8
he's
tries for the season, but you'll have to wait, Hudson. Another error.
No challenges left.
He's gone for the challenge. There's
He's making a tackle, hits a defender.
none left. It's been an unhappy night for Hudson Young. He tried hard. He's had a couple of errors. Bit of scoreboard pressure has certainly made it difficult.
Let's go, guys. Come on.
Lockie Fitzgibbon loves it.
Why wouldn't you? 28 points to 6.
As Blocker Roach said this season, why is Lockton Fitzgibbon going to England?
It's a good question. He's a great team player. He runs a nice hard line outside in. Always turns up for his teammates. He's a great defender.
Marzu just so strong. Not for the first time today, refusing to let the ball go. He'll get a penalty as a result.
Yep. You had the ball. Newcastle strips it out.
You said no. You said no.
Penalty to Canberra.
You said they didn't have it.
Tyson, I've got a person closer who made the call. Okay, he stripped it after it.
So
Yeah,
Adam
well,
G
it's like,
admitting
get it.
that the sideline official has tipped him off here, and the original call goes the other way. Against the
There you go.
Knights in favour of Canberra, who need every call to go their way right now. Hudson Young.
Okay, out together,
Look
Tyson.
at the tackle in the opposition 20 stats.
Go one.
And compare that to the scoreboard. Horsburgh, Fogarty, it's been intercepted by Bradman Best. And again, the execution is sadly lacking.
Well, that just sums up where the Canberra Raiders have been this afternoon. Their attack, particularly going in sets, have been pretty ordinary to say the least. They've had enormous amounts of possession. They've had enough tackles inside 20.
Up together.
32 tackles inside 20 to the Newcastle Knights 12. And it's 28 points to 6.
And Newcastle want more points. The win is almost beyond doubt. But how many points can they tally as Jacob Saifiti has another carry? Up above 140 run metres now, Jacob. Hastings kick out towards the wing of Rapana. And he can't get away from Bradman Best. They have been poles apart, these teams today, despite being on paper so close before kickoff.
Yeah, you see another stat there. Missed tackles, 12 to 27 run metres. They've got nearly 400 more run metres than the Canberra Raiders.
Papawati fending away from Hastings a couple of times before Fitzgibbon shuts it down. Timoko to Rapana, but with no room. Horsburgh through Fogarty. Again, they're asking for trouble, and they get it now. The ball falls for Dominic Young. Kurtman, as we mentioned, next up, Dragons Sea Eagles. Then later tonight, here's Elliott back. The Penrith Panthers at home again. Near unbeatable at home against the Sharks. Gagai. Brought in the team about to set the scene for the next 2 NRL games in the Clive Churchill studio. Adam Elliott. And a happy return to GIO Stadium for Adam. Hastings kicking for Dominic Young. He's got one today already. Put him down for 2 in the most brilliant fashion.
Here we go, slam
and here's
dunk.
the try celebration. Dominic Young dunked that thing. He flushes it. And Dom Young scores a double to equal the greatest try-scoring season in Knights history. It's Tamana Tahu, it's Aku Uate, and now it's Dominic Young. 21 tries each.
Yeah, excellent little kick, 2-pass kick, brings a winger up. Hopolade's been caught out a number of times. Dom Young gets a clear catch, gets the ball down in the corner, and this is a preconceived. Does he put his foot out? Oh, does he? Doesn't look like it from that one. It looks like he may have just grabbed a bit of the sideline. And the slam dunk. What an athlete.
There's your answer, Corey.
Just review on touchline, please, mate.
There's enough of that blue boot on the white stripe to say that dunk doesn't count.
The buzzer had gone off.
At this stage, Dominic Young's right foot touches the touchline. We have a decision.
He got up above the crossbar easily, just quietly. There might be a few NBL clubs saying, when you finished with the Knights this season and before you join the Roosters, come and spend the summer with us. Illawarra Hawks,
There, okay.
your favourite team, Corey. So Canberra to come away from their 10-metre line. Very importantly, Lara, what do we know about Kalen Ponga and that head injury assessment?
He's back out on the sideline. Maddie getting ready to come back on. He passed the HIA.
Great news. Peter Parr there telling him what's going to happen when he goes back out. Relaying the coach's message.
He'd be nearly reluctant to put him back on and just park him in the shed for the remaining 9.5 minutes. With someone like a Kurt Mann, he's so versatile.
Is White. Why wouldn't they do that, Corey? What's the counter argument?
I mean, I know the game's well and truly one and done here. It's been a terrific effort. Nice cold drink, sit on the bench, put the jacket on.
Here's Fogarty at the end of the set, just roosting one and telling Dane Gagai to grab it, which he does. Gee, he's good. He's versatile. He's been doing it for a long, long time, Dane Gagai. From the Broncos to the first stint at Newcastle, and look at Horsburgh racing through. Marziu, did he keep a grip on the ball sufficiently? The Raiders were saying no, he lost it, and now the officials agree. Corey Horsburgh was shot out of a cannon.
I like the idea. It might be a little too late for Corey Horsburgh.
He was like the drunk ejected from the hotel at 2 a.m.
Okay, guys,
He just
find him.
flashed through the screen, missing the mark and stumbling. Well, he sort of hit the mark. Bounced off
10
Greg
seconds.
Marziu, as plenty have.
Let's go. Dane. Shot clock off.
It's a good sign that Caelan actually wants to come back on the field. I get that. I get he wants to be out there with his teammates and he wants to enjoy the victory at the end, but boy, if I was Adam O'Brien, I'd just be parking him on the bench, make that really clear.
About to return. They're number one in so many ways. His first touch this afternoon was dynamic. He went on with the job in the first half. He helped Newcastle to that big half-time lead. As Tarpany treads his way forward. Starling for Fogarty. Here's Hudson Young, shaping to kick, but fooling, well, no one. Shut down by Leo Thompson. Fogarty to Whiten and Best up quickly to make the tackle. Somehow Whiten gets the lob pass away. Whereas Sebastian Chris is the recipient. Fogarty kicking, were they onside the Raiders? Off the Raiders, down for Gamble. Gamble running away from his support. Now he confronts Hopewati. So what a springboard for the Knights to head west with. Caelan Ponga about to return. Next weekend, a doubleheader in Perth, including Newcastle Dolphins. And Gamble has a complaint here. There's blood on the cheek, but it's more, it's an ankle problem. Ooh, and maybe a significant ankle problem.
Well, this is interesting. A really good foil for Caelan Ponga, and also Hastings as Crossland makes his way over to the sideline. Caelan Ponga's going to go on. Crossland again has been outstanding, 42 tackles. He's been the barometer from the effort areas for the Newcastle Knights and what they've been able to do. And there you see Ponga back onto the field.
Tackle one. Holding.
Last week, Phoenix Crossland, 35 tackles, 1 miss. Today, as you mentioned, 42 tackles. Just the 2 misses. Dom Young denied his second try, but he's not done yet with 6.5 left. How good is women in league round? I like what Rebecca Frizzell said this week, speaking with Vonnie on Face to Face. Won't be long, we won't have a women in league round because every single round is women in league round. They play such a pivotal part in so many avenues, so many parts of rugby league. Man. I'm convinced there's more points to come in this game. As Hastings goes to Gamble, his grubber sits up nicely for Croker. And he's shut down straight away by Gagai.
Yeah, that was a tired kick, wasn't it, from Gamble? This time, he was quick evading. 5.5 minutes for the Raiders. Newcastle being outstanding. They've built again off the back of that wonderful victory that we saw last week against the Melbourne Storm. Speaking to the coach in the pre-game, he mentioned, well, I asked him the question, sometimes you just get belief from a performance, and they've been terrific the 2 weeks prior, but this is win number 4 in a row.
Rapana for Whitehead. Matt Timokol dropping back against the grain, taking metres. Bradman Best dives over his shoulders.
All over him. He's trying to get up. Yep.
Tarpany. Inside the last 5. And it's going to be a 4th straight win for the Knights, but by what margin? As Papali'i goes into Adam Elliott.
No more, Adam. Hold square.
Behind Horsburgh, it's Fogarty long. Croker, little stutter in his step. And he can't beat Gamble. Fogarty again, the grubber into the legs of Kurt Mann. And the set restarts. It was gobbled up by Fogarty as he chased his own kick. Starling to Papali'i, the crash play. Papali'i almost got the arm free to reach out. Now Horsburgh with a ball
excellent.
playing from Corey, but Tyson Gamble, what a tackle on Hudson Young.
That's superb.
Late in the game to stop a try. Now they muscle up on Horsburgh. His reach, did he find the line?
Easy.
No, then he's knocked it on, surely. What about this goal line defence? The game wrapped up. Newcastle, like they did last week against Melbourne, dig deep. They'll love that in the Hunter.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exceptional. First, the tackle from Tyson Gamble on a Hudson Young. This time, Kalen Ponga only back onto the field, only a matter of minutes. There's Horsburgh lunges out, gets the ball down, but well short. Here's the play here. That is a superb tackle. Textbook up under the ball, around the ribs, takes him straight down. Brilliant.
Great stuff. Tyson Gamble. Here comes Greg Marziu. This will be only Newcastle's third win away from McDonald Jones Stadium as Corey Horsburgh runs in again, makes contact with Brodie Jones. A few nights appealed for shoulder charge, no love from the referee. Hetherington, the offload, man to Hastings. Hastings, dummies long, keeps the ball. Ponga back out there, giving the ball for Hetherington. Only played 3 games last year at Canterbury because of that shoulder problem. Every game at the Knights for Jack Hetherington this season. Hastings is another. Best, Hastings, Thompson, Hetherington and Crossland. The Iron Men so far for Newcastle as they go high to complete the set. Hopewadi falls backwards. I mentioned the 2 road wins for Newcastle before today, Corey. Back in round 2 at Leichhardt against the Tigers. Round 16, that 66-0 wipeout of Canterbury. And now, soon after that, in Capital, as we see Whitehead under pressure. Timoko. Oh, lost his ribs there, Corey, and now they've lost the ball. Elliott Whitehead straight back to his haunches.
Yeah, rightly so. Had Greg Marziu's right shoulder firmly imprinted on his chest. And Ricky Stewart, it's not the first time he's been in this sort of situation. Very experienced coach, very relieved coach right there, still barking orders. Minute remaining, you just get the sense they may finish with some more points.
Inside the final minute, is there an exclamation mark coming from Newcastle? I'd love to put a cherry on top, wouldn't they?
I'm going to say yes.
Gamble kicks and chases. He's been head high after kicking. Then Rapana awkwardly, clumsily ushers the ball over the dead ball line. No whistle for the contact on Gamble. I thought he was collared around the neck. Referee following the ball. Watch it again. Oh no, nothing wrong with that.
Well, he was definitely taken after he'd kicked the ball. There was an opportunity to pull out of that.
You're right. It wasn't high, but it wasn't late.
Yeah, spot on.
Okay, guys.
And Tyson plays it up as well. Doesn't attract the attention of the officials. Good pick up. Gamble goes long. Jackson Hastings, he's 38 metres out to add the 1 point. Do they get the extra? No, but it is still a big road win. It is 4 in a row for the surging Newcastle Knights. The flags are waving high everywhere, from Canberra to the Hunter, on the back of a blinding performance from Kalen Ponga again. Newcastle have beaten Canberra 28 points to 6.